Hi, and welcome to New God Sunday School. I'm Tom Scioli, author of Jack Kirby, The Epic Life of the King of Comics. I Am Stan, a graphic biography of the legendary Stan Lee. And from Image Comics, Jack Kirby's Star Warriors, starring Adam Starr and the Solar Legion. All three of those books are available for pre-order by following the pre-order links in the show notes below. This is Mr. Miracle number 14, Super Escape Artist. To escape the house of Satan, you must join the quick or the dead. Also introducing the weirdest villainess ever seen in comics, Madame Evil Eyes. So it's the 70s. We got this, resurgence of sort of, horror and we got Rosemary's Baby and The Exorcist. And Jack Kirby is concurrently working on another one of his masterpieces, the Demon series. And so now that Mr. Miracle is no longer part of the larger New God story of Apocalypse and Darkseid and all that stuff, there's sort of a vacuum here. And so for this issue, a satanic cult fills that vacuum. And I have to say, this issue has some of the best art, some of the best drawing that Jack Kirby's done in this sort of post-New Gods period of Mr. Miracle. I feel like he's maybe gotten over the shock a bit and is kind of, sort of, if he's not as invested in the stories, he's going to go for it in the artwork, and maybe even fueled by, the sort of creative momentum he's having with the Demon, and feeding some of that into here. This some elements of this could be, this is almost like Mr. Miracle meets the Demon. A walk in the woods can turn up anything. In the case of Mr. Miracle, it explodes with an incident so totally unexpected and bizarre that it defies the senses and talents of the world's greatest escape artist. Mystery, villainy, and danger. He can't resist their challenge, for these are the elements from which escape is possible, only for the quick and the dead. And we're getting those sort of, chapter breakups that Kirby has done from time to time throughout his career, and then sort of in the latter period of his 70s DC tenure starts to do a lot more. Edited, written, and drawn by Jack Kirby, inked with spirit and spunk by Mike Royer. So they see this demon running out saying, "Help, help." We get a really nice double-page splash. They're in the middle of the woods, and just he's being attacked by these just really amazing-looking creatures. "Take him back to Satan's lair. He'll never get another chance to betray our secrets. Don't let the cowardly traitor escape." But Mr. Miracle, a bona fide superhero, is on the case, so he's not going to let anything like that happen. "Another ghoulie. Where did you come from? The hosts of Satan are everywhere. Beware of meddling with the mystic powers. Save that mumbo-jumbo for superstition freaks. It means nothing to me. Then perhaps this capsule will. The instruments of Satan are many and varied, and those who defy them soon find that it's better to be discreet than brave. Look out, Oberon." So they toss this little capsule at Oberon and Mr. Miracle. They get zapped by it. "Mr. Miracle, are you all right?" "I was never affected by that capsule, Oberon. I hit the ground fast enough to escape its shock force. Instead, I've lain here faking a blackout and watching them leave. I'm glad they're gone. Now, Oberon, we've got to find out more about that crowd. I've found out all I care to know. Let's go home." And so they follow the bad guys to Satan's lair. Really nice-looking ruin. Not a bad direction to take Mr. Miracle in. And we get this sort of, classic Jack Kirby haunted house. Looks a little bit like, when he would draw the X-Men's mansion, or where Agatha Harkness would live. Or I've seen this house in other Jack Kirby comics, in the Dingbats of Danger Street. "Welcome to Satan's lair, Oberon." Thanks a lot. Chapter 2. But yeah, just really beautiful draftsmanship and the depth of this sort of, colorful Kirby superhero with all their little squiggle and whatnot against the finer lines and detail of this background. And they approach, and there's Madame Evil Eyes, the star of the show. And, sort of a haunted house story. They're welcomed inside, and there she is, and she's got her eyes, and they put a zap on Mr. Miracle. very, very severe visual. The supporting cast is hanging out. We've got Ted Brown, he's still hanging in there, and Big Barda. We got Lashina, and then we have Stampa. And this is the first time we're seeing her without her shades, without these sort of goggles that she'd wear with her helmet. So she seems a little more vulnerable, a little less one-woman demolition crew. And she stomps this tree stump into the ground. Kind of reminds me of these Zelda games where you can like hit tree stumps into the ground with your hammer. There's some bickering among the ranks. Barda, straightens everybody's hash. Your barracks philosophy just knocks me out. I like that term, that barracks philosophy. I think this is where we get the first inkling of some sort of romantic subplot. It's just, the faintest whiff of it. I know who you're really worried about. Tell me, are you in love with Mr. Miracle, Barda? Until now, I never gave it much thought. So, now she's at least giving it some thought. Another, really beautiful looking panel, this, great, statue of this, Satan figure holding Mr. Miracle. When Kirby was working on Fantastic Four and Thor simultaneously, they really reinforced each other. Thor got more cosmic and sci-fi, and Fantastic Four got more mythic. So there is a feedback loop with Kirby working on multiple series simultaneously, and yeah, the visuals are just really nice. Starts breathing some fire, but Mr. Miracle's gone. And Madame Evil Eyes believes that she saw Mr. Miracle get, charred to a crisp, vaporized by that flame. And in the background, Mr. Miracle is, beating up her minions. One of the nice features that we've seen in a few issues of Mr. Miracle, where the villain is gloating as Mr. Miracle is standing right behind them. And Mr. Miracle doesn't have time to deal with Madame Evil Eyes at this point. He's looking for something in the house, running through there, falls into a trapdoor, and bullseye, Oberon. We found the one we're looking for. So he was looking for this guy who got this demon that got captured earlier in the story. He's being held prisoner in the dungeon. They help him out and take off his devil's mask. Let's see what you look like without this devil's mask. I'm nobody in particular, mister. Just a guy who's tired of playing Halloween. Wait a second, I've seen your photo somewhere. Yes, on wanted posters. Your ears, Watson, atop hood. And an arm pops in, zaps this guy. Again, looks like it could be a piece of apocalypse technology, but no such luck. This is a post-apocalypse issue of Mr. Miracle. So even if something looks like it was made by the new gods, it's not. It's just, Earth technology. A freeze gun. I've read about these. It's a new top secret weapon that's supposed to paralyze its target. Suppose nothing. It works. We'll never learn anything from him. He's stiff as a statue. And now the wall opens up. Madame Evil Eye's face is floating there, taunting them. Zaps Oberon. Mr. Miracle throws the freeze gun at it, shatters. We see that floating head was actually a projection screen. So we're starting to realize that there's technology behind all this, sort of scary mysticism. There's like a scientific explanation for all these, sort of ghosts and goblins that we're seeing. Some spears shoot out. Again, it's this, lots of like booby traps, kind of, like an Indiana Jones kind of setting, and, roll Oberon, and they make it just in time. Again, lots of excitement within it, just, not a lot of depth beyond that, which we had seen lots of depth in previous issues. And now she's watching, Mr. Miracle struggle, through this, again, an interesting view screen at the end of the mouth of some kind of serpent. And then her, everything explodes, and she's running from the flames, and there's Mr. Miracle. What we found in here proves that your Satan Club is just a cover for a more modern evil. This is a hijack ring. Only your followers steal top secret inventions, and you sell them to the highest bidders. That freeze gun I took from one of your hoods was the clue to your setup. The freeze gun did a good job on that chicken, Ears Watson. He didn't like his share of the loot, so he tried to betray us. But he can't talk now, can he? We can, Madam Evil Eyes. We'll be witnesses when you and your henchmen are tried for your crimes. And if you've sold any top-secret stuff to our government's enemies, they'll throw the book at you, babbling fools. Don't heckle the Lady Oberon. She's worried about that fireplace. Then let's put her mind at ease, Mr. Miracle. I'll just nudge this tile we examined. Your loot, madam. So you found this, too. And that kind of sums up this period that we're at with Mr. Miracle. To me, it might have been interesting if they would have really, stumbled into some kind of genuine, supernatural terror, of demons and ghosts and whatnot. But it's Scooby Doo. It's this is all just a cover for a organized crime kind of thing. Madame Evil Eyes, her design and her motives remind me a lot of a golden age Simon and Kirby comic, and seems like a step backwards for how far Kirby had come and the amazing things he had been producing just a few issues previous to sort of go back to these kind of standard plots. Again, the presentation is amazing, really nicely staged action, very exciting, well rendered graphics, but just kind of forgettable in terms of plot, and doesn't really do anything to build a whole that is larger than the sum of its parts, which is also part of the assignment. Kirby was sort of instructed to simplify, and he's definitely doing that here. Madame Evil Eyes goes for her, last big move, creates these balls of fire, from her eyes. You've got no choice. We're turning you and your crew over to the law. Don't be too certain of that. The Satan Club may be phony, but not the power of Madame Evil Eyes. It is real and deadly. My stare can kill at full force. I should have used it on you two from the very beginning. Look at her eyes, Mr. Miracle. They're growing larger. They're growing like hot flames. The blazing eyes increase in size until they seem to fill the room with evil, blazing light. Back, Oberon. Take cover. Yow. If Madame Evil Eyes were from Apocalypse and was sort of, raising funds to, raising money to fund Darkseid's war effort, it would kind of, give this stuff a little more of like a context. This is the only time we see Madame Evil Eyes from Kirby. If she's sort of a mutant, and Mr. Miracle sends it right back at Madame Evil Eyes. How did you do it? With the one thing she wasn't expecting, feedback. You mean you absorbed her power and transmitted it back to her? Something like that. It was done with these circuits inside my hood. I believe her eyes can emit strong beams of microelectric waves, which these circuits picked up and transmitted through my own eyes. The old hag must be one of those rare birds, a true mutation. She's a mutant, but if this were an X-Men comic, that mutation would be part of a larger context, a larger tapestry, but Kirby has not established that here, so it's just kind of a done in one. She was a mutant, let's move along. There may be other explanations, but I'll buy yours until the FBI fully investigates her. Let's get out of this house of Satan, Scott. That's a proper name for it, Oberon. Although it was used to frighten off the curious, this house was indeed a haven for evil. Too bad we didn't bring Big Barda and her gals here. That wrecking crew would have given the Satan Club a real fright. They'd be a tonic for me, especially Barda. Without his mask, we can all recognize Mr. Miracle as scot-free, but who is the real Big Barda? Don't miss the next exciting issue. That's a pretty tantalizing title. Find out the real Big Barda. Sounds interesting. I feel like we've gotten a lot of her backstory, and in this new era that doesn't mention Apocalypse or mother boxes or anything like that, what this real Big Barda could possibly mean, but we'll find out next issue. We get the letter column, Miracle Talk by Steve Sherman. No more Mark Evanier. Responding, Steve is responding to a critique about how the comic seems to have been dumbed down a little bit. A valid critique, Mike, and a welcome one. However, explosive action has always been Jack's stock in trade, and while admittedly there has been a lessening of character exploration of late, it's based on what Jack feels the readers want. But we're always open to change. So what'll it be, group? a little less rock'em sock'em action and more characterization, or keep it in the direction it's now going. So sort of, an admission that yes, the stories have been getting dumber, and it's deliberate, and Jack is giving what he says here. Jack's giving the audience what he feels the readers want, but he's giving his bosses what they want, and it's a little sad. It won't be long before Mr. Miracle 2 gets the axe, and in that final Mr. Miracle issue, we get a return, like a big return of the whole New Gods cast, which is a real relief and a real release, but still got a couple more issues to go before that happens. I'm Tom Scioli, author of Jack Kirby, The Epic Life of the King of Comics. I Am Stan, a graphic biography of the legendary Stan Lee, and Jack Kirby's Star Warriors, starring Adam Starr in the Solar Legion. All three of those books are available for pre-order by following the pre-order links in the show notes below. I'll see you next time for New Gods Sunday School.